Stamatolopoulos and Reno Piscopo, two players that have not had enough time on the field for Rob Stanton's liking, and they are primed for a raid at the capital. Big moment for Wellington. There's a chance to demonstrate that they have moved on from the altitude sickness that they suffered at times last season, but both teams will have to navigate the turbulence, Piney.
Yeah, we talk about the wind a lot, and here in Wellington, anybody who's watched any game of sport at this venue knows that regardless of the wind direction, it does tend to swirl around in this bowl. Sometimes you look at the corner flags, and two corner flags are blowing in opposite directions. Sometimes one is being buffeted by the wind and the other is not moving at all. Here come the two teams, the Wellington Phoenix and the Newcastle Jets, make their way on to Sky Stadium, and there's a special tribute to outgoing Sky Stadium boss Shane Harmon. He's been CEO here for over a decade, a staunch advocate for football and for the Wellington Phoenix Football Club. We too wish Shane Harmon all the best in his future endeavours. One change for Wellington from the 11 who started last time out against Western United. Oscar Zavada back into the starting lineup, having come off the bench last weekend. David Ball drops into the reserves. Mohamed El Tay starts against his former club. 9 of these 11 players have started every one of Wellington's 7 games this season. Two changes for the Jets after their 2-0 loss to Melbourne City. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos returns after a hamstring niggle, kept him out last weekend. Former Phoenix favourite Reno Piscopo starts for the first time this season. Mark Natter plays his 50th A-League match. Costa Grossos plays his 50th game for the Newcastle Jets. Attacking firepower aplenty on both benches. David Ball, Luke Supik and Oscar Van Hatten for the Knicks. Archie Goodwin, young gun Justin Vidic and the experienced Trent Bahagia are in reserve for the visitors. Jonathan Barrero's our referee. It's his 80th A-League men's match and the 20th time he has controlled the Jets. They're the side he has refereed most often. Assisted by Sarah Jones and Isaac Travis. Helping out is 11-year-old Brodie Major, plays for North Wellington, has been a Phoenix fan since 2019, goes to every men's and women's game. His favourite men's player is Costa Barbarouses. Excellent coin flipping technique there from Brodie Major. Gets the handshake from the referee, probably gets to keep the coin as well. Off he goes, final formalities just about complete. Anna-Marie Keeley, incidentally, is our fourth official. Chris Griffiths-Jones in the VAR booth. Mohamed El Tay played 29 games for Newcastle over the last 2 seasons before making the move across the Tasman. He's found a natural home in Wellington's midfield, playing in every game. All but one of those have been from the start. Lucas Moraga spent last season here in Wellington on loan and caught the eye on the left side of the Phoenix's back four. He played 20 times before heading back to his parent club, where he has started every match this season. Giancarlo Italiano was named Coach of the Month for October and has guided his side to their best ever start to an A-League men's campaign. Never before have Wellington had this many points after half a dozen matches, raising eyebrows all around the A-League. And it's a first trip across the Tasman as Jets boss for Rob Stanton, although he's been here before as Sydney FC assistant. He's overseen just 1 win in his first 6 matches in charge, but has shown an admirable willingness to back young players in making the step up to the A-League men's. Saturday evening football is underway in Wellington. The Phoenix protecting an unbeaten 6-game start to the season. The Jets looking for takeoff after an inconsistent start to the new campaign. Just the 1 win in 6 for them. 47th time these two have met the A-League men's. The Jets have won 3 of the last 5, but it's been slimmer pickings on this side of the Tasman. Just 5 wins from 24 visits to Wellington since 2007. Jacob Spoonley, you talked in pre-game about the Phoenix's approach to this one. They've looked very different away from home compared to how they've played at home. What are you looking for early on from Wellington in particular this evening?
I think both teams will look to settle themselves early, given the conditions. Adjust to how the ball's running on a beautiful field here at Sky Stadium. But the Wellington Phoenix will need to come out and play with authority, as we noted in the pre-game. Last season, they did struggle to be ruthless and put away sides that were lower than them in the table. Fine being the underdog, but it's that change of mentality that comes with these sorts of fixtures, Piney. And we'll need to see a demonstration of that elevation, that evolution of this Wellington Phoenix team here today.
Wellington Phoenix in the dark strip this evening, kicking from right to left. That is towards the northern end of Sky Stadium. Newcastle Jets in their white shirts and socks and green shorts, attacking the goal to the right of screen. Very consistent look to the Phoenix starting 11. As mentioned in pre-game, 9 of the starting 11 have started every game. Giancarlo Italiano said during the week he likes consistency, he likes to reward performance. And here's a man who's been performing, Tim Payne. And unfortunately, he can't wrap his foot around that one. In one of the standouts in the first half-dozen games also, Tim Payne.
Last season used as a centre-back. This season, a right-back, and we get to see his athleticism and his elasticity that he brings to the Wellington Phoenix down the right-back role. Unfortunately, that time, not getting it right with the cross.
Dane Ingham, the All-Whites defender in the Newcastle side. Here's Renio Piscopo into Aquilina, and he applauds the intent. Keen to keep an eye on Thomas Aquilina and Dane Ingham and how they play up and down the right. Dane Ingham's been listed as right back with Thomas Aquilina further forward, but just wonder whether Ingham, as an attack-minded fullback, might find himself further forward. Aquilina, of course, has played at fullback for a large part of his career.
Well, that interchangeability does pose a question for the Wellington Phoenix. Dane Ingham, as you said, likes to get forward. Aquilina has played in that right-back role. So, like we see with Altay and Payne on the opposite side for the Wellington Phoenix, we could see the right midfield and right back for Newcastle interchange.
Just wonder also whether the wind might affect the way Wellington play out from the back. Might just be a little bit more cautious than they have been on calmer days. Saw Alex Paulson take a goal kick, which ordinarily this season he might have just played a short pass to one of his centre-backs. This time he went out wide and the ball was carried beyond the touchline by the wind. Here come the Jets. And into the penalty area they go. Chance for Stamatolopoulos! And the Jets lead, and the 4th minute here. Back into the starting side. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos on the turn. A tidy finish off the post. And the Jets into a shock 1-0 lead early.
Well, they've upset things early doors. A lovely run from Inter out. I think that's Taylor down the left-hand side. Bundled his way past Payne, and then it's bundled into the back of the net. 5 goals so far this season for Stamatolopoulos. And we've seen the full range of his goal-scoring ability that time on the turn, past Paulson, 1-0.
Well, he scored twice in a pre-season 2-2 draw against the Phoenix. This one counts for so much more. 5th goal of the season, as Jacob said, his 12th in all A-League men's matches. And they missed him last weekend with that hamstring niggle. Back into the starting side and back on the score sheet. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos gives the Jets the lead. Well, the Phoenix haven't fallen behind too often in matches this season. Just the 3rd time they've gone behind 1-0. They've come back to win 1 and draw 1 of the previous 2. Newcastle have opened the scoring now 4 times this season. A win, a draw and a loss on the previous 3 occasions. That has furrowed the brow of Giancarlo Italiano.
The interesting part to all of that is that Tim Payne, who has been proficient going forward, but defensively minded, has that physical ability to defend one-on-one. It was bundled over by Taylor. Caught napping in the early moments of this game, it seems, the Wellington Phoenix right back.
Clayton Taylor's been really good up and down Newcastle's left this season, still a teenager. A couple of goals in the 5-3 loss to Melbourne victory in round 2, but is featured in every match. There might be a lot of wind around Sky Stadium, but the wind's been taken out of the sails of the Yellow Fever after that early strike. Ingham's going to get to that one ahead of Zavada. The Jets look well and truly up for it. Piscopo. Taylor's come across and again. He's used his strength to impressive effect, this time against Sermon. Clayton Taylor catching the eye early in this one. There's O'Neill. Now Piscopo. Jets will look to probe down the left. Moragas on a field he became familiar with last season. Wellington just looking for a foothold into this game. The pass is not necessarily sticking early for the home side.
This plays beautifully into the hands of Robbie Stanton. Not only does his team have their noses in front, but as the Phoenix look to push on and get back into the match, it's going to mean that there's a lot more space to exploit in transition. One of the men that you don't want to give that sort of space to is Reno Piscopo.
Going into this round, Wellington had the best defence, or the joint best defence in the A-League men's, just 4 goals conceded. It took less than 4 minutes for them to concede first in this one. Clean sheets in their last 2 matches. Here's Ute looking to spark something. Barbarousis. Kraev's making a run. Natter in the way of the pass. Towards the far post, and Pennington! Good save by Ryan Scott as Nicholas Pennington got on the end of that cross.
And 2 bites at the cherry here. Costa Barbarousis doesn't get that one across initially, stands it up to the back post. And then Nicholas Pennington, good contact on the ball. And Ryan Scott, unsighted. And it tends to come through Dane Ingham there.
Doesn't score a lot of goals, Nico Pennington, just the one in fact in 42 previous A-League men's matches. Thrilling battles in midfield. Piscopo is fouled, but the referee says play on, you've got the ball. Right left is Moragas. He helps it into the area, half away by Rufer. Aquilina can't control. Now Zavada looking to hold the ball up and link up play for Wellington. He's been pushed into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Long ball forward again. This time it's Barbarousis all the way out. Ryan Scott well aware of what was going on. Good goalkeeping from Ryan Scott.
Confident play, sweeping nice and high behind his back line. Costa Barbarousis, I think, was expecting that one to sit up. Field was watered right before the game. Might have been the reason for that one skipping through to the Newcastle custodian.
Foul by Rufer on his former teammate Piscopo. Just another word on Newcastle's goal. It is their 600th A-League goal. So Apostolos Stamatolopoulos with a milestone goal, the 600th for Newcastle. Amazingly, Wellington are also perched on 599. So both teams went into this game one shy of the 600 mark. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos will forever be known as the goal scorer of Newcastle's 600th. Rufer steps in, looks to step into midfield. Can't find Kraev with the pass. Aquilina. Stamatolopoulos certainly doesn't play as a traditional centre forward, does he? Likes to drift out wide, pick up possession of the ball, allow space for others to utilise in the penalty area. There's Moragas. Bright start from Newcastle.
He certainly is the Novocastrian catalyser. Not only has he found his way to the back of the net, but loves getting involved in the build-up play.
As does Taylor. Tim Payne's going to shepherd that one out for a goal kick. This is more familiar from Wellington. The way they've played in the early part of this season is passing out from the back. Kraev gets away from O'Neill. Next pass is vital for Božidar Kraev. He finds Barbarouses with it. Payne arriving. Costa Barbarouses. Can he find room for a shot? Does! Save with a feet from Ryan Scott. Still there for Wellington with Kraev.
Lovely play from Kraev.
Billy Heel. And to lift one in. Off the back of Thomas Aquilina.
Patience from Wellington in response to going behind initially. Just an interesting little footnote as well, Piney, is the way in which the Wellington Phoenix are playing out. We often talk about inverted fullbacks. Well, the Wellington Phoenix are pushing their two centre midfielders in Ute and Pennington out wide. They're almost occupying fullback roles, and then Payne and Kelly Hield are taking up winger positions. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how Stanton responds to this, because I think Newcastle are looking to press through that midfield third and deny Wellington Phoenix developing the play forward unimposed.
You can see Tim Payne nice and high up there on the far side. Gets it from Ute now. Barbarouses has gone past him. First time ball into the area, should be dealt with by Natta. There's Payne again. Lifts it into Pennington. Just a bit high. Ryan Scott again. Out and safely gathers.
He's been a busy man so far, Scott. Confidently navigating the conditions here in Wellington.
Yeah, first season at Newcastle after 4 at Western United. Ryan Scott, he's had the gloves for the first half dozen games of the season. Aquilina sends it in. And Stamatolopoulos thought that the final touch was off a Wellington defender. The officials disagreed.
There we see the interchange between Ingham and Aquilina that we talked about. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. He made his feelings known there, the Newcastle number 8.
Dane Ingham on the ground where he made his all-whites debut back in 2017 against Fiji. Brother Jai debuted for New Zealand in the same game. 12 New Zealand caps now for Dane Ingham. Just one this year, though. Piscopo and Aquilina combined. Kelly Hield took a little nick off the Newcastle player, so Wellington with a chance to clear their lines. Savara does well to free up Barbarouses. Tim Payne's off on his trademark run down the right. Barbarouses finds him now. Breezes past Moragas across the 6-yard area, but Ingham's back and deals with it.
When the Phoenix get the ball in transition, they are looking to spring forward, and it's a lot being asked of O'Neill and Grozos at the moment. They are being circumnavigated in the centre of the park as the Wellington Phoenix get the ball forward. and look to take it to the heart of this Newcastle defence.
Rufer comes through on the back of Piscopo again. That's twice that Alex Rufer has left his mark on Renato Piscopo. Last time Renato Piscopo started an A-League match was back in April. First minutes of the season against Melbourne City last weekend. Had half an hour off the bench. Good to see Renato Piscopo back in the starting side. Such a key part of any team he plays, and he was wonderful here in Wellington. A real crowd favourite.
There's a bit of feeling in this one early on, Jason.
Zavada again comes deep to link up play and brings in Payne. Try their luck down the left this time. Kelly Heald.
Both fullbacks for Newcastle looking to press high onto the opposite numbers. And in doing so, they're vacating the space outside. The centre-back pairing, and Crave and Barbarouses are just drifting on shoulders at the moment. As the ball goes into Kelly Heald, you might see it down the screen. Earlier on in the rotation, it was on and Crave was screaming for it.
Brandon O'Neill doing the defensive work on that occasion. Newcastle skipper. Tago's long. Barbarouses elects not to chase after that one, then changes his mind, and then Ryan Scott tidies up. Newcastle looking comfortable in possession as well early in this one. Moragas. Lucas Moragas, hoping to be part of the under-23 Asian Cup squad for Australia, no doubt, in April and May. Tony Vidmar's side, grouped with Jordan, Indonesia, and hosts Qatar. Lucas Moragas has been a big part of the Australian under-23 side. Here's Ingham. Looks towards the far post, too close to Paulson. I think he got that one quite right, Dane Ingham. Looks up to the heavens and wonders if he could have done better. He'll get more opportunities, no doubt.
Certainly not Newcastle's competency in possession or their ability to score goals that's been in question so far this season. 3 goals against Victory, 2 against Perth, 2 against Western Sydney Wanderers, where they also picked up a point, Jason. That wonderful work has at times been offset by some average defending.
Yeah, they've conceded the most goals in the first 6 matches, Newcastle, 14. So that certainly has been an Achilles heel for them. Piscopo again. Gets away from Pennington. Kelly Heald comes across to look to halt his progress and does it competently enough. Now Piscopo protests to assistant referee Isaac Travers. He thought he'd been manhandled there by Lucas Kelly Heald. But I understand his sign language. I think he's motioning that he's been fouled 3 times. Cry have certainly fouled there. Now Piscopo makes his point to Jonathan Barrero.
Well, there certainly has been some agricultural defending on display here in Wellington. Crave cuts that one beyond O'Neill and then is cut down to the turf.
Zavada. Graham's off on a run and asking for the ball. Instead, Zavada goes central to Pennington. Barbarouses, they try to play a little 1-2, which doesn't come off. Rufus steps in and wins possession back momentarily. There's some niggly little fouls happening. Nicholas Pennington, the latest culprit.
Skipper this time wins the free kick that he was searching for moments ago.
So just the one shot on goal in the first quarter of this match for Newcastle, and led to a goal. Moragas lines one up, trying to double the attempts on goal for his side. Pennington has a couple of goes at getting that one away. Just a bit messy at times out there, Jake.
I think when we talk about the weather and the conditions here in Wellington, the inconsistency of the wind is something that's often overlooked. But it doesn't always show itself in big moments. It's just in the calibration of the play. You get frustrated. The ball doesn't always do what you want it to do. It won't go exactly where you want it when you're trying to pass to a teammate. We're just seeing that play out, particularly for Wellington at the moment. They're not settling into the fluidity that we've seen in previous weeks. For Newcastle, I think they're using it to good effect, putting balls in behind the Wellington Phoenix back line. It's been stood up at times, forcing them to retreat and defend from deep.
Header doesn't find Barbarouses. Natta drives it forward. No man there for Newcastle. Mentioned before some of the crossover in this match. Mohamed El Tay, of course, played for Newcastle last season. Lucas Moragas, the opposite. Here's Costa Barbarouses, and wins a corner for his side. Jack Duncan, of course, on the bench for Wellington, reserve goalkeeper, also a former Newcastle player. And Wellington Phoenix assistant coach Adam Griffiths also played 38 games for the Jets. So a lot of crossover between these two. Here's Jack Duncan just warming up. First corner for Wellington. The referee just wants a word with the throng of players in and around the penalty spot. Oscar Zavada just gives Kankara a little shove.
Scott Wooden very animated in the response to Kankar going to the ground.
Brendan O'Neill plays peacemaker, if we can call it that. Now we're ready for the corner. Pennington to take. Hangs it up in the breeze. Wooden gets a head on it. Still there for Wellington. Alex Rufer blocked on the goal line, or just off the goal line. Alex Rufer. Good committed defending from the Jets.
Aquilina there. Very important block on the goal line. Ball stood up, and the Wellington Phoenix's size on display there more than anything. Zavada and Wooden at that back post. Boxed out their opponents. Fell to Rufer, but couldn't turn it into the back of the net.
Ryan Scott still coming to terms with the vagaries of the wind as well. Here's that chance.
Just the ball stood up in a physical battle, which the Wellington Phoenix win. But then Aquilina was the most important touch in that phase of play. There isn't much in the way of speed or pace to this game at the moment. It's been drip-fed to us Newcastle Jets, I think, intentionally making it very, very slow and lethargic when the Wellington Phoenix try to circulate.
Calls for handball there as Reno Piscopo controlled that one. Referee allowed play to go on. Here's Taylor. Taylor shoots. And straight into the breadbasket of Finn Sermon. Deflected behind for the first Jets corner of the contest.
Good opportunity to test Alex Paulson. Hasn't had much to do. See how he's able to judge the ball in the wind.
Costa Grozos on set-piece duty for Newcastle. Dealt with on the near post by Wellington. Shot comes into a crowded penalty area. Again, it's blocked. It was Piscopo with the second effort. Lucas Baragas thought about chasing hard after that one. Realised the wind would be his enemy.
The advanced position so far. The Newcastle left back making friends with the yellow fever. Great work rate.
Peeling away, Kraev, keep an eye on the assistant referee, flag down for the meantime. Kraev comes back across the 6-yard area, now the flag goes up on the far side. Sarah Jones, as is the tradition, just let play develop before raising the flag against the Bulgarian Kraev.
There's that run though, from inside to out. Kraev starts on Kanchar and then goes into the space directly behind Ingham. All for naught. Flag is finally raised. The 6-yard line. A lot of focus, and rightly so, will be on Piscopo and Stamatilopoulos. But Taylor and Aquilina so far playing impressive supporting roles, springing forward and looking to get on the ball. When Newcastle do turn it over.
First yellow card of the contest for Cankar, adjudged to a foul. Bojadak Kraev. The protests are loud and long.
Well, the question being asked, why none of the yellow Wellington Phoenix's tackles have resulted in the yellow card. I think the distinguishing feature here is that Kraev is bursting forward. He's saying that's his first one, referee.
And a first yellow card of the season for Philip Cankar. So free kick results for the home side. Pennington to take and go short with it. Now Payne will help it in. Took a bit of a deflection, but hangs up in the breeze. Still there for Zavada. He's been left alone for the meantime. Barbarousis. Once again, Newcastle clear their lines, although Moragas gives that one away to Altay. Altay can't find a way out, and Newcastle will get the throw as we approach the half-hour mark in Wellington.
Just a little bit of frustration starting to creep into the Wellington Phoenix's play. I think, as we touched on, the conditions are playing a role in that, but the majority of the frustration will be stemming from this plan that Newcastle have brought to Sky Stadium. They are sitting off the back four, allowing the Phoenix to circulate, but they're denying the ball into the dangerous areas, into that Wellington Phoenix midfield. And the fullbacks, as soon as it does go into the middle of the park, there is a white shirt meeting a black one.
Yeah, they're well drilled, that's for sure. Rob Stanton has obviously outlined the strategy to them, and they're implementing it really well at the moment. There's Payne. Aquilina steps in. Barbarouses gets back and wins it back, but unfairly, says Jonathan Barrero.
A little grab of the shirt from the Wellington Phoenix, number 7. Enough to take Aquilina from his feet.
Tackles continue to fly in. Here's Grozos. And Moragas. Piscopo. Reno shoots from a long way out. Well, we know he's got it in his locker. We've seen a goal on this ground at that end from that man, Reno Piscopo, during COVID times, actually, which just about brought the house down. He nearly did the same there.
I think he's all of 25 yards out, at least. There's such a sweet strike on him. Saw him do that for the Wellington Phoenix in a yellow shirt, a black shirt, and of course a red shirt while they're in Wollongong.
Shot across the bow. Tim Payne looks up, looking for Zavada. Natta gets an important header in. Barbarouses again lifts it in. Nico Pennington looking to direct his header goalwards. Wide of the mark. Ryan Scott wants a word with his back four. Just wondering why perhaps Pennington had a little bit of space to fashion a header there.
A consistent factor in all of those chances cost Barbarouses. That time looking to use the pitching wedge to get the ball up and into the 18-yard. I'm sure he'd have liked to have fallen to Oscar Zavada instead of Nico Pennington. Haven't seen much of the Wellington Phoenix's dangerous number 9 thus far.
Well, a lot of his touches have been in and around halfway, haven't they, when he's had to drop back to gain possession and to link up play. That's his best work, as we know, in the penalty area. He might get on the end of this one, and does. Here is Zavada! First opportunity for the towering pole, and he diverts it wide. But that is what he can do on the end of incisive passing.
It's a lovely ball from Nico Pennington. Stands that one up. It's actually Zavada coming deeper. And he gets the touchdown away from Natta onto the left foot. But beyond Ryan Scott.
Showing no ill effects of the groin injury that has restricted his minutes in the last couple of matches. Rufa seemed to give Reno Piscopo yet another shove in the back there. Referee ignored this one. Once again, they're on the move, but once again, Ryan Scott with really good penalty area management and game awareness, out to snuff out the danger.
That was lovely play. Conviction from Scott. Early decision. Out and nullified the danger. Not for the first time.
No way forward for Payne, so goes back to Ute. Barbarouses has been involved a lot. Crives up on the right wing now. Barbarouses has it taken off him by O'Neill.
The decision-making in the final third for Wellington Phoenix has not been up to the standard that we've set so far this season. It hasn't been good enough. You saw there from Barbarouses. And Crave running back across, decided not to play it into his teammate.
Crive wins the ball back off Grozos. Entries into the attacking third for Wellington. Kelly Heald's cross is easily dealt with. Once again, Rufa goes through on Piscopo, and this time it is a free kick. Well, the last one that wasn't given was worse.
There's an interesting little battle going on here between Alex Rufa and Reno Piscopo. Rufa claiming that the number 10 is going to ground under nominal contact at times. Rufa, though, is starting to establish a bit of a reputation here with referee Barbiero.
That time it was
consistency of fouls.
That was time it was on Clayton Taylor. I think the message from Jonathan Barbiero was fairly clear. The next one might see you in the book, Alex Rufa. Here's Ingham. Aquilina. Sliding challenge from Pennington. Behind for a corner for the Jets.
Again, down this right-hand side, the Jets have fashioned a couple of very good opportunities so far, particularly through Ingham and Aquilina. And that time, Aquilina thumbs up for the ball into the box. Results in this corner for Newcastle. Must have only had all of 6 touches so far, Alex Paulson.
Second corner of the evening for the Jets. Piscopo takes it short. Gets it and gives it back to Grozos.
Talk about key milestones in games, particularly when you're away from home. Gotta weather the opening storm, get to the half-hour mark, then get to half-time, and the Newcastle Jets have ticked a few of those boxes early doors.
Certainly have. It's back across the 6-yard area. Are they going to get another opportunity here? No, it doesn't quite come together for them, but the pass is errant from Criev, and they might get another go. Newcastle. Aquilina looks up. It deflected off Kelly Heald. Aquilina thought it was off his hand. That's the protest that he's mounting. Just a corner at the moment.
At the moment, it's a Peel in isolation. He wasn't joined by any teammates. Of course, VAR will check, and rightly so in this instance.
Grozos again on the corner. This one goes all the way across to the far side, and then the shot. That high and wide. Lucas Moragas, wouldn't he love to score a goal against the club that he played for last season? Just 2 A-League men's goals and 51 previous appearances for Lucas Moragas.
Jets are set up high here. They're going man for man with this Wellington Phoenix back line. Asking Alex Paulson the question, can you knock an accurate pass in these conditions over 30 to 40 yards into a high fullback? And when they do go short, they are being pressed really effectively by Newcastle Jets.
Frustration is continuing to grow for Giancarlo Italiano. That's a rare missed touch from Oscar Zavada. A different type of problem for the Chief to solve tonight.
I think, as his nickname alludes to, he's going to need to show leadership as well for this Wellington Phoenix team. There are a couple of players that aren't at the races at the moment, some passing, some touches, starting to come astray for the Wellington Phoenix. And if they are to put pressure on Newcastle Jets, who are looking rather comfortable, particularly over the last 10 minutes, they will need to be a lot more precise and a lot more accurate.
Kelly Heald again, can't quite find the mark with the pass. Approaching the final 5 minutes of regulation in this first half. Rufa and Piscopo together again. Kelly Heald helps out and wins possession back for Wellington.
I'd love to see the heat map of Piscopo and Rufa at the end of the match. I'm sure it'll be very identical. There'll be a huge amount of overlap between the two. Never far from each other in this first half.
Painless one in, Scott untroubled. It'd be like the heat map of Siamese twins, you'd imagine.
It's all a bit flat at the moment. The Wellington Phoenix lacking authority, in the Newcastle Jets quite comfortable with how proceedings are playing out. We're more than happy to manage this to half-time.
Wellington just probing. Is there another chance or two perhaps at the end of this first half for them? Kelly Heald, Barbarousis. Find his way back to Kelly Heald now, into the penalty area. Pennington, lots of white shirts in front of him. Pennington tries to curl one. Wasn't going to come down for him, and there's a flag up on the far side for offside.
That was better as the Wellington Phoenix worked the ball on the wide area. Rotation between Kelly Heald and Barbarousis. I think it might have actually been a deflection as the ball fell to Barbarousis, which resulted in the flag being raised.
Another free kick for the Jets. A couple of travelling Newcastle fans, super fans. That's Matt Vandenberg on the right, Luke Gibbons alongside. Have made the trip across to Wellington. Matt even took the time to come and visit us in the commentary box and amongst all the pre-match festivities. I'll be pleased with the way things are playing out in the first half here.
Complimentary about the weather in the capital as well, Jason.
Very much so. Here's Taylor. O'Neill goes wide to Ingham. That's a good cross in. Danger, confusion, and a second goal for Newcastle. Clayton Taylor seizes upon a loose ball, and those two Newcastle fans can barely believe what they're seeing. Away from home, their team are now too clear, and Clayton Taylor has his third goal of the season, and Newcastle double their money.
Dane Ingham has his second assist, a whipped ball into that near post, not dealt with by Sermon. Paulson has seconds to react, and then the ball falls to Taylor. The goal gaping in front of him, only has to stroke it into the back of the net. Well, goals to bookend the first half for Newcastle. Robbie Stanton must be a very happy man on the sideline at the moment. Giancarlo Italiano, though, has a few questions that he'll want answers to at the half-time break.
Certainly, this is the team that came into this game with the equal best defensive record in the first 6 matches of the A-League men's. They've conceded 2 before half-time. So Newcastle, what a half for them. They do not win here very often. Just 5 in the last 24 on this side of the Tasman. But they've got a firm grip on this game now at 2-0 ahead.
It's a delightful ball from Dane Ingham. Used his time and space to great effect. He got the ball up and over Finn Sermon, and Alex Paulson had no time to react. It was more of a block than an attempt to catch the ball.
In Wellington fashion, something as we head towards 45 minutes and what we're told will be an extra 2 minutes minimum at the end of this first half. There's confirmation from fourth official Anna Marie Keeley of the extra 2. Well, if Rob Stanton was happy going in at 1-0 ahead, he'll be absolutely delighted at 2-0 up. Still a bit of work to do, obviously, but his side have taken the fight to the Phoenix and got their rewards. Calls for a free kick there, not given. Here's Zavada, looks across and sees Barbarousis, squares it back. Barbarousis had made a run to the near post. Man down for Wellington meantime as play goes on. Alex Rufer, and I'd say he'll get a yellow card now, Alex Rufer, for an accumulation of fouls. That is the case.
Definitely a yellow card. Alex Rufer with a cynical block on Lucas Moragas as he was advancing down the left-hand side. Moragas trying to take it around the Wellington Phoenix captain. Rufer not allowing any of that.
Second yellow card of the season for the Phoenix skipper. There's Bojidar Kraev, who was the man down. He's now back on his feet, happily for Wellington. So the crowd stunned here in Wellington. They came here fully expecting a continuation of this unbeaten run. It might get even worse for them. Sloppiness at the back. Eventually cleared, and that's a foul on Kelly Hill.
That was an awkward challenge by Aquilina, and it's got the yellow fever irate. Kelly Hill was lumbering forward. I think the redeeming factor for the challenge there for Thomas Aquilina is that he got touch on the ball.
No time for the free kick, because that's half-time here in Wellington, and the Jets may just have take-off this season if this first half is anything to go by. Goals early in the half from Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, and late on from Clayton Taylor have the Newcastle fans celebrating. Half-time, Wellington Phoenix 0, the Newcastle Jets 2.
Great to have you with us here at Sky Stadium for round 7 action in A-League men's. It's Newcastle Jets 2, Wellington Phoenix, the undefeated top of the A-League ladder tied. They are goalless at the break. I'm here in the halftime show with former Football Ferns defender Anna Green. The Jets, they came into this game in 10th position on the ladder. How do they find themselves 2-0 ahead at the break?
Yeah, look, I think there's been a couple of defensive errors, some lapses in concentration, and 2 great finishes. I think the first finish on the turn from someone that was fighting to get their starting spot back, I think was outstanding. We're seeing here that Tim Payne maybe left at the blocks as Taylor was down, showing some strength there, but that finish on the turn is world class.
Yeah, and Apostolos Stamatolopoulos comes into the side out through injury last week. He shows exactly what he can do in the early stages. Clayton Taylor, who takes on Tim Payne down the Phoenix right-hand side, he's been one of the leading lights for the Jets in their early season form. And then just before the break, Anna, a wonderful ball in from Dane Ingham, finished off by Clayton Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that ball in there is screaming out for someone to finish. And you've got the glancing header there, you've got Sermon maybe not doing his job, let the runner come across, a bit of distraction, and then right place, right time, Taylor with the finish.
It's almost a bit of a role reversal in the first 45 minutes here. You've got the Phoenix, who have been a lockbox in defence, coughing up chances. As we take a look at the first half statistics, I want to draw your eye to the bottom line there of this graphic, Anna Green. The final third entries. The Wellington Phoenix are making waves downfield. It's just what they're not producing in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been owning those transitional moments. They've been breaking into the final third. They've been having control of them, really turning the Jets back 4 around. But it's the final pass that we can't seem to get right. It's the decision making when you should be going inside, you've got players turning outside, you should be passing and you've got players on the dribble. We're looking like we're not quite on the same page, and that final pass, the final finish has really been letting the team down.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of those transitional moments. It's where the Wellington Phoenix have had their best chances, if you like. Not that they've made the most of those chances, Anna Green. It's almost like they get into this position and then they don't know what to do in the attacking third. What's the best decision to make?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was what we thought would happen in the game, where if it is transitional, the Knicks do come out on top. But what they're not managing to do is find that final pass. I mean, that's a great ball through there from Altay, but there's nothing on the end of it. I think Barbarouses is going to have a big half. Could we have done better with that header? Maybe. I think the crosses into the box, this was what we thought from the Jets, where they cannot deal with those. So how do we make the most of those opportunities?
Well, is it a chance for us to pay credit to a much improved Jets defence? On another occasion, they may have conceded 1, 2 or 3.
Yeah, look, I think they've been pretty consistent to what they were last week, in all honesty. There have been gaps. The Phoenix just have not been able to capitalise on those at all.
After missing the first 5 matches of the season with a calf tear in pre-season, Reno Piscopo, he emerged last week against Melbourne City off the bench. He started here tonight at Sky Stadium. The battle between himself and the Wellington Phoenix skipper Alex Rufer, it's worth the price of admission alone. These two, they're almost behaving like former teammates, Anna Green.
Yeah, if you're a neutral, I think this will be the pick of the game so far. It's been great to see. I mean, you'd like to see Rufer get stuck in there, to leave Piscopo on the ground. And I think Piscopo's been great, though. He's been playing well. He's been drawing those fouls. He knows that Alex is coming down his back. And what's happened at the end of the half is that you've got Rufer on a yellow card now, so he cannot be doing that this next half.
Yeah, so what changes do you expect both coaches to make? I'm assuming that Rob Stanton, he just says, well, status quo, let's just do it again in the second 45. But Giancarlo Italiano, for probably the first time this season, he's got some decisions to make. What do you do? What changes do you make? Am I looking at somebody like Ben Old to provide some sort of energy into this game for the Knicks?
Yeah, I think you've called it right there, that the Jets will be saying, let's keep calm and carry on. But if you are the Knicks, you've got to have something change. You've got to have some energy brought in. And I think Ben Old's the key man for that. The way that he lights the field on fire, gets the ball, give and go, really energizes the entire team. And he is so good on those transitions, not only in winning the ball back, but then in supporting the attack. So I think this game's crying out for a Benold.
And he was the match winner last week against Western United. The Wellington Phoenix, they need something in the second half. They are down 2-0 to the visiting Jets. The Jets, they are on the tarmac. They are ready for takeoff. Can they get their second win of the season? You'll find out live on Sky Sport next.
It did not take long for the Newcastle Jets to open the scoring here in Wellington tonight. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos scoring his 5th goal in 6 games, and the Newcastle Jets' 600th in A-League men's history. He joins some fairly iconic Newcastle names on the milestone list. Ante Milicic scored the club's first A-League goal. Joel Griffiths, their 100th. Job Wheelhouse, their 200th. The Ecuadorian striker Edson Montano got goal number 300. Nigel Bogart was the goal scorer for goal 400, and Connor O'Toole 500. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, the 600th A-League goal for the Newcastle Jets. added to late on by Clayton Taylor. So they're on their way to 700. And you'd have to think they're well on their way to 3 points here, Jacob.
Very much so. The Polaroid of the unbeaten season for the Wellington Phoenix is starting to fade. Jason Pine. We've got a mountain that we need to climb in the second half, but there's hope. And there's hope in the form of the season. Newcastle have been here before. They've been 2 goals to the good against a team at the top end of the table. That was Western Sydney Wanderers, who in the second half, after being 2 goals down, managed to climb back into the match and came away from Newcastle with a share of the points. So, that man will be looking for inspiration from the Hunter, which he'll hope to translate into something here in the capital this evening.
Yeah, coaches get given assignments of all types. This is one that Giancarlo Italiano hasn't had to deal with yet this season. The team talk he's just given, he'll hope, has inspired his Chargers to reduce this 2-goal deficit and then maybe look to try and grab themselves a share of the points. Jonathan Barrero signals time on in the second half. Newcastle now kicking from right to left. That's south to north here at Sky Stadium. The Wellington Phoenix heading back towards their yellow fever faithful at the southern end, needing something, needing some sort of inspiration internally or externally from their fans, perhaps, to find a way back into this game. Is Clayton Taylor, who's been very good tonight and is very good at the start of the second half. Is that a penalty? It always looked like one, and it is. Inside 30 seconds in the second half, the Newcastle Jets have a real chance now to put this one almost out of reach.
Absolutely no question about this one. Being taken to the penalty spot. Taylor, as he started the first half, starts the second, driving towards the Wellington Phoenix goal. This time Finn Surman is the player that he advances past without any real challenge, and then it's the covering tackle from Scott Wootton that seems to be the reason why we are lining up from 12 yards out. And for the 3rd time this season, Jason Pine, Alex Paulson.
Yeah, well, we know the legend, Alex Paulson. 2 penalties faced, 2 penalties saved. Can he keep Wellington in this game? It's Apostolos, Stamatolopoulos. The Jets have takeoff in Wellington. They are 3-0 ahead early in the second half, and surely now must believe the 3 points are theirs for the taking. Alex Paulson beaten from the penalty spot for the first time this season. And Newcastle, what an evening it's been in New Zealand's capital for them.
A beautiful, convincing strike for his 2nd of the evening. It's now 6-6 for Stamatolopoulos. The Novocastrian catalyser.
He's breathing down Bruno's neck at the top of the Golden Boot standings. Bruno Fornaroli, 7 goals. Apostolos, Stamatolopoulos now half a dozen, including 2 tonight. 3 times Alex Paulson's had to pick the ball out. He puffs out his cheeks in disbelief. And if Wellington wanted a fast start in the second half, they got the polar opposite. Once again, Clayton Taylor has to get huge credit, driving deep into enemy territory, brought down in the penalty area. Not a word of argument from Wellington. And Stamatolopoulos did what 2 pretty handy strikers, Adam Taggart and Jamie McLaren, have been unable to do, and that's beat Alex Paulson from 12 yards. What will Wellington's response be? The crowd trying valiantly to lift the spirits of their team.
We talked in the pre-game about the Wellington Phoenix getting altitude sickness last year. They had moments such as this but they've come up against a side that they're expecting to get 3 points from. It's also a moment for them to announce themselves, confirm they are worthy of their position high up the ladder. On numerous occasions last season, they came away with less than they should have. 15 points of 33 available against teams in the bottom 5 for Ufuk Tale's men. And for Giancarlo Italiano, his men seem to be continuing that pattern.
Dane Ingham plants one to the night sky and hopes the wind does its work. It comes down on Scott Wotton's head. He clears it okay.
Newcastle, of course, also equaling the goals scored against Melbourne. Victory 3 in that game. No Bruno Fornaroli tonight, though. Slippery night here in Wellington. A number of occasions players have lost their footing, and we see that in the latest example.
Giancarlo Italiano surely now must be thinking about game changes, impact players off his bench.
Does look like Sam Sutton and Ben Old are receiving their final instructions from Giancarlo Italiano. And that, to me, signals the end of the evening for Lucas Kelly-Hield. And possibly Mohamed Altay, although Alex Rufer being on a yellow card might also be dragged.
Savada tries to find Barbarouses with a threaded pass. Ryan Scott is up to it, as he's been up to everything thrown at him so far this evening by the home side. Only 5 times before have Newcastle visited Wellington, and this goes back to 2007, and come away with all 3 points. It has been an unhappy hunting ground for them, but tonight it's a field of dreams. Kraev. Wanted to look for some space down their right. Payne. Altay. Payne again, now with a bit of room to work in. Fouled there by Taylor. He was, but Wellington have the ball, so they'll play on. Barbarouses will do well to keep that in. He has. He lifts it back towards goal, but Ryan Scott able to gather with no real problem.
We've just received confirmation that Mohamed Altay and Lucas Kelly-Hield will be coming off at the next stoppage. Sam Sutton and Ben Old now waiting for their opportunity to impact this match.
Well, it'll need to be a significant impact if Wellington to have any chance of taking something away from this one.
I think initially they'll be looking to be disruptive because it's been such a controlled, measured and ruthless performance from the Newcastle Jets.
It really has. It's been mightily impressive from Rob Stanton's charges here tonight. They'll gain huge confidence, no doubt, from this performance.
I think more than anything, Jason, it's the display that they've put on at the back. Yes, they've defended deep with numbers, but it's been an organised and resilient performance from a team that has had significant questions hang over their heads about whether or not they could defend. And the Wellington Phoenix, very free goal scorers at home.
Yeah, well, 5 goals conceded in their last 2 matches tells the tale of a team that needed to tighten up defensively. They've certainly done that the first 53 minutes here. Sutton and Old wait patiently for their opportunity. Payne takes one towards the centre of the goal, still there for Wellington. Pennington, Zavada looking for it. Newcastle scramble it away just about. Pennington there again. Now Ute. Tim Payne. A crowded penalty area. Can't wrap his foot around it, and it goes out for a throw eventually. See the changes now, but a bit of penalty area pinball here, Jake.
Lovely ball from Costa Barbarouses, finds Tim Payne, looking for Zavada at the near post, and it just really is never dealt with by the Newcastle Jets. We were talking about how resilient they'd been defensively, and that all went out the window in that passage of play. Very messy. But after all of that, Ben Old, the match winner from last week, comes onto the field, and Sam Sutton, a player who's been waiting for his opportunity this season, hampered by injury. It's 35 minutes here this evening.
Yeah, 7th appearance off the bench this season for Ben Old. Sam Sutton turns 22 tomorrow. He wouldn't mind a birthday present a few hours early. The two subs getting involved early. Sutton's pass, though, doesn't find its mark. Still there, though, for Nico Pennington. Here is Pennington! Good save by Scott. Man down for the Jets in the penalty area.
It looks like Piscopo down in the box. Sam Sutton was the player in question. As Nico Pennington wins the ball back, Sutton bundles into Piscopo. Referee Barbiero didn't see anything wrong with it. Pennington drove into the box, shot on his left foot. Didn't fall to anyone in a black shirt for the tap-in.
Scott again, this time punches. He's been good tonight, Ryan Scott. He's repelled everything the home side has thrown at him. And man down for the Phoenix this time. Jonathan Barrero brings proceedings to a temporary halt as Oscar Zavada's going to get some treatment here. It's a heavy collision.
It's a ball into the box, it's from deep. And Scott up. Big right hand. Seems to collect Zavada on the way through. There's that right elbow, and ooh. There we go. Zavada with the claret.
No suggestion of anything untoward there. Ryan Scott's just coming for the ball. He's got all rights to throw a couple of fists at it if that's what he decides to do. Oscar Zavada on the receiving end. He'll have himself mopped up by the medical staff.
A player whose presence hasn't been felt anywhere as near as much as what his coach was looking for. Is on the receiving end. So defending with conviction. Coming off the back of his, coming off his line this evening, Scott has played so well in the first half, mopping up those through balls. Been good under the high ball consistently, as he was there. A large reason why Newcastle have a clean sheet thus far.
Yeah, limited opportunities for Ryan Scott at his time at Western United, but the move to Newcastle has worked out well for him, the 27-year-old custodian. 3 good saves tonight. And so far, his goal unbreached. Wellington are going to get this ball back.
Again, we see that tight, compact, low block for Newcastle. Really disciplined and organised in the way in which they've repelled Wellington throughout the course of the 60 minutes.
Rob Stanton has put his faith in youngsters this season, out of necessity on occasion, but also through choice. You asked him pre-game how he balances the desire to do that, to give young players opportunities with wanting to get results. Well, he might have got the perfect recipe tonight. And with a relatively young team out there, looking very likely that they'll go away with all 3 points. Here's Barbarouses. Tough on Rufa. Piscopo, clever feet. Tight area to work in there for both sides. Newcastle come away with it. Broken up by Wellington in midfield. The hour mark approaches. But scrappy in midfield at the moment.
It's very directionless. Wellington Phoenix is circulating. They're in about third gear, and then once they do break the line, it seems that a misplaced pass or an extra touch brings a halt to any momentum that they do look to gain.
Here's Old. His all-whites teammate Daningham knew what was coming, poked it behind for what will be a Wellington corner, just their second of the evening. You feel like it's now or never for Wellington if they're to find a way back. Pennington's corner, driven back in, bouncing around, headed towards goal, and wide it goes. Finn Sermon it was who got the final header.
It was all messy. Pennington's corner, nowhere near as supposed to go. And then fortuitously falls to Crave, who puts the ball back across, and then Sermon puts it wide. Talking about the investment in young players, the development that's been emphasised in Newcastle, of course. Started with Arthur Pappas and has been continued by Rob Stanton. Although they don't have any owners at this point, it seems a good use of resources to provide the younger players with an opportunity to play up against seasoned A-League teams.
Here's one of them now, Lucas Moragas. Squares it back, hoping to find Piscopo with the pass, but Pennington was there to break it all up. Now Sutton with a chance to stretch his legs. Zavada dropping back, and Oscar Zavada, I think, fell awkwardly when he got the bloody nose from Rotten Scott. And again, he's just in a little bit of trouble here, Oscar Zavada.
This time goes down, just to be clutching it. An ankle or a lower leg. No. That might be the end of the evening for Oscar Zavada. Hobbling as he's moving now. Looks like David Ball is kitting up on the sideline. The man who started the match last week, and we see a role reversal as David Ball comes on for the last half hour for Oscar Zavada.
So an unhappy end to the evening for Oscar Zavada. Wellington will certainly be hoping it's not a serious injury for their main man up top, David Ball. Into the action, the Englishman. Game number 102 in Phoenix colours for David Ball. He's got a birthday in the week ahead as well, his 34th. just not coming together for Wellington, but Clayton Taylor has been excellent tonight. Really, really good. Aquilina. And the cross towards the far post. Stamatolopoulos was there or thereabouts. I've just been so impressed with Clayton Taylor.
Bit of force of nature coming in off that left wing for Newcastle. Gusty and gutsy runs from the number 19.
Well, he scored a goal. He set up the first one for Stamatolopoulos and earned the penalty, which Stamatolopoulos scored the third goal from, so he's been well and truly involved. Here's Kraev for Wellington. Positive, Kraev squares it. No one there for Wellington, cleared by Ingham.
Released down the right-hand side by Barbarousis, and Kraev gets beyond the final defender, bearing down on goal, and he looks to find David Ball. And the roles reversed from Auckland. The ball squared it for a tap-in for Kraev.
Ball and Sutton can't combine. Story of Wellington's not really. Things just not coming together for the table toppers. This win, if indeed Newcastle could close it out, and it looks very much like they will jump them over the top of Sydney FC for the meantime, and above their fiercest rivals, the Mariners. They'll go to 8 points, the Jets. Sydney play tonight against Macarthur at Allianz Stadium. A couple of big games tomorrow night, Adelaide, Brisbane, and Western Sydney, Melbourne victory to complete round 7. Ryan Scott always looked favourite to grab that one out of the Wellington sky.
Playing confidently at the moment, Ryan Scott.
Rob Stanton has spent the entire game up in his technical area, issuing instructions. Newcastle will host Perth Glory next Saturday night at McDonald Jones Stadium. We know how difficult Perth have found it on their travels, so the Jets will go into that game full of confidence, no doubt. Wellington, meantime, face a trip to Campbelltown on Monday week to face Macarthur. Macarthur side that are unbeaten thus far.
More former players next week, the Wellington Phoenix.
Yeah, former players in pretty good nick as well. Ulysses Davila and Clayton Lewis. Philip Curto as well in the Macarthur side. So a trio of former Wellington Phoenix players lying in wait. Here's Payne. Driving Wellington forward. Kraev. Here's a chance for Wellington off the post from Tim Payne.
Well, that was the first time you felt like Wellington were able to convert the territory into a chance all evening. They've really had the tempo and the pace of play dictated to them by Newcastle Jets. That was the first opportunity we saw the cut and thrust. It ended in a shot from Tim Payne, trying to guide that one beyond Ryan Scott, but only finds the upright.
Holt combines with Pennington. Now David Ball. Ball looking for room. Any space he had closed very quickly by the Newcastle defence. Piscopo helps one forward. Paulson is out of his penalty area calmly. Flag would have gone up regardless. Rufer helps one forward. Barbarousis seizes upon the rebound. Wellington just trying to get something going here. The white wall of Newcastle is keeping them at bay for the meantime. Ben Old. Good defending by Aquilina. Every Newcastle player playing their part. Here's Rufer. He's forced away from goal, Alex Rufer. David Ball. It's there for Wellington. It won't go in for Wellington. Just feels like one of those nights, Jacob, where the home side is not going to find any goal-scoring joy.
Well, we often talk about the Wellington Phoenix not necessarily creating the most chances in the game, but definitely the best. Well, that was the best of this evening. Tim Payne on a cutback from Kraev, and then into the left upright. Following that, we saw another chance fall to the Phoenix, and again they were denied of a clear-cut chance on goal. That Tim Payne opportunity, I think it's only really joined by the Oscar Zavada snapshot in the first half. Apart from that, Newcastle have starved the Wellington Phoenix of any sort of time or pressure in the final third.
Yeah, the defending has been just excellent. Really, really good. A bit more to do here for Newcastle, but Pennington's back heel doesn't find its mark. Here's Taylor. He'll run again at Wellington, gets away from Payne. Clayton Taylor, Stamatolopoulos ahead of him. Clayton Taylor looking for other options. Finds it from Piscopo. He misses his shot. Still there for Newcastle, though. Once again, Clayton Taylor catching the eye with ball at feet.
Talked about Newcastle denying the Wellington Phoenix chances. What they've also done is pressed very effectively in that middle third. The Phoenix have not been able to circulate with the speed or the expanse that we've seen so far across the course of the first 6 rounds. I don't think we've seen any diagonal from Alex Rufer. And it really has been a staple of the way in which Giancarlo Italiano's team has played.
Piscopo's enjoyed his first start of the new season. It'll give heart to Newcastle Jets fans as well to see one of their most creative players back out there and playing well.
Circulating, soaking up time. More than content with the 3 goals and the 3 points that they are more than likely, if not definitely, taking back across the Tasman this evening.
A couple of subs being ready for Newcastle as well. Once again, it's broken up by the Jets. Ball forward too far ahead of Reno Piscopo.
The Jets so far this season at times have looked unbalanced. We've seen great attacking play, good circulation, but defensively.
Barbarouses pulls it back. Cray thought about a shot. Lays it off for Ben Old. He can't find the mark.
Just talking about the Newcastle Jets' defensive effort so far this season. Brilliant this evening, but at times they have been questioned over the course of the first 6 rounds. Defense that time getting in behind, getting the ball across. It fell to Ben Old. Snapshots that we've seen of him so far this season, and the form that he finds himself in off the back of that winner last week, you would have been on that one, been at least on target.
Here's Sam Sutton twisting and turning and getting a return pass from Pennington. Old now looks up, sees a few dark shirts to aim at. Can't beat Aquilina.
I think the back four will get a lot of the plaudits, but been wonderfully marshalled by O'Neill and Grozos. And a lot of cleaning up in front. The central two.
Here's Old again. Trickery. Hangs it up at the far post. Barbarouses was setting himself for the volley. Moragas prevented it from happening and now breaks forward. Lucas Moragas charging forward. Stamatolopoulos has it. Moragas has continued his run. Apostolos, Stamatolopoulos. They calm it down through Taylor.
Good decision, really selfless play. Of course, on the verge of a hat-trick. Going towards goal, realised the chance wasn't there. Turned it around, circulated, soaked up even more time. Very impressive from Stamatolopoulos. Not just the goals, Jason, it's the way in which he combines, particularly with Taylor and Piscopo. Just drifts from central positions into the space between centre-back and full-back.
Really encouraging for Newcastle.
For asking Sutton to get much higher and wider. No point hanging back when you're looking for goals.
Barbarouses in towards Pennington, off towards Payne. Is there an end product for Wellington this time? Natta blocks Payne's cross. Pennington's going to have to try and recycle in a tight area, can't. And Reno Piscopo is the architect of Newcastle's escape, or is he? They are going to get out of it eventually.
Some hesitation in there, and the suggestion of the chance for the Phoenix evaporated as Tim Payne waited for a run to present itself.
More danger now for Wellington. Taylor lifts it towards the far post. Sutton tried to hit it behind. Aquilina's going to haul it in. Now Ingham. Little 1-2 with O'Neill. Cleared this time by the home side. Foul by Grozos on Kryev. They might make the changes now. Two of them. So we're going to see Archie Goodwin as he continues to build up his match minutes. And Callum Timmins as well. Oscar Van Hatten, meantime, is going to make his way on. So Goodwin for Stamatolopoulos. A brace and a terrific all-round performance from Stamatolopoulos tonight.
Stanton very clear about Goodwin's role in the matches, wanting to ensure that Jets fans saw him each week and not pushing him as he gets back to fitness. This time able to keep him in reserve. Only see the last 20-odd minutes, sorry, 15-odd minutes here this evening in Wellington.
Callum Timmins is into the action for Reno Piscopo. Van Hatten on for Pennington. Archie Goodwin, back surgery in the off-season. 28 minutes in round 5, about half an hour last week. He'll get 15 again tonight. Coaches are being patient with Archie Goodwin.
O'Neill again with a great piece of covering play as the two number 6s come together. But every time the ball has gone wide for the Wellington Phoenix, Grozos or O'Neill haven't been far away in the second half. Ingham and Moragas quite happy to sit in now. In the first half, we saw them much more adventurous defensively, looking to get out there and press. Now just sitting back and occupying space alongside the centre-back pairing of Bensah and Nutter.
Wellington continue to probe, continue to look for something.
It's been the circulation. Lethargic at times, at others pedestrian. Wellington Phoenix simply haven't got the ball out and around. Aided Newcastle in their defensive efforts. They've been able to shift those 2 blocks of 4 across the field and keep the ball in front of them. Only sparse moments of the Wellington Phoenix ever got in and amongst the defensive lines.
Barbarouses chases after another one. Flag is up though as he fires across in. The 80 minutes are up, and in the yellow fever zone, the shirts stay well and truly on. Don't know whether our pair of Newcastle Jets fans will remove their shirts.
The evidence suggests yes.
Well, there's your answer. Matt Vandenberg and Luke Gibbons, good on you, boys. You've made the trip over and it's paid off for you.
There's some effort. Going from New South Wales at the start of summer into Wellington. Really hasn't embraced the concept here this evening.
Another easy one for Scott to deal with. Here's Old. No way forward over there. Ben Old forced away from goal by a continually excellent Newcastle defence. Dane Ingham that time, although he did foul Ben Old, so Wellington will have a free kick.
Ben Old's toil and tussle with Dane Ingham. Felt like a fair challenge. Dane Ingham with every right to ask the question of Jonathan Barbarero on that one.
Well, in theory, the wind is behind this one. You never really know at Sky Stadium, but it might be that one of Payne or Cryer fancies a shot from there. It is going to be Cryer. Side-footed. Ryan Scott with plenty of time to line it up and collect it safely.
You can see what he's trying to do. It looked like a knuckleball. He was hoping the wind would catch a hold of, but not enough power to really trouble Scott.
Rufer gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Sets Payne on his way. Now Barbarouses. Again, it's broken up. Foul on Timmins. More changes coming for the Jets.
Wilmering and Bahaja coming on. Taylor, after impressive shift this evening. It's given a rest for the last 10 odd minutes. Thomas Aquilina also gets to enjoy a 3-0 lead, and has made his last contribution for the evening.
Very quiet inside Sky Stadium as the final 6 minutes approach. Tim Payne is fouled as he tries to bring that one away. Wellington play on quickly. Was Cryer fouled there? The referee was in close attendance and says no.
There wasn't much difference between that contact and what Jonathan Barbera blew for in the middle of the park for Newcastle just moments ago. All rather light. Touch of hand to the back. Maybe a clip on the heels. Ultimately comes to nothing for Božidar Krajev.
Timmins not able to latch onto that one.
Truth be told, Piney, Newcastle Jets have outthought, and ultimately outplayed the Wellington Phoenix this evening. Not only has it looked a new Newcastle Jets side with that balance between possession and defence, but they've also made the Wellington Phoenix to look a very different side. Nullified the threats across the park. Controlled the tempo of the game.
Here's Barbarouses. Crayer's in the area if he wants to try and find him. Costa slides it back. Van Hadem is there or thereabouts. Still looking for his first ever A-League men's goal, Oscar Van Hadem. Corner taken quickly. Payne wraps his foot around it and it bounces off the top of the crossbar. Well, he struck the woodwork twice now, Tim Payne. Wellington going quickly again. And that's going to find its way behind for a goal kick.
It's all rather desperate now. Oscar Van Hadem decides to take this one quickly. Tim Payne, aided by a deflection. And Ryan Scott, aided by the crossbar, squeezed that one up and over the goal. Keeping intact his clean sheet.
Even though the result is now all but certain, the Jets will be desperate to keep a clean sheet as well, just to reinforce their defensive solidity tonight.
It'll be their second of the season. If they were to achieve that. It was the previous one against Western United. This one, though, much more impressive. Smiles on the face of this young Newcastle Jets backline.
Yeah, Mark Natter going to mark his 50th A-League men's appearance with victory. Van Hadem helps it on towards Barbarouses. Still a bit of defending to do for Newcastle. Payne, basically playing as a right winger now, Tim Payne. Cryer put the header, nowhere near the purchase he was after, harmlessly behind, and that, in many ways, tells the story of Wellington's night.
Also wonder why Ben Holt didn't communicate to his teammate there in a much better position. All by himself at the back post, facing goal. Krajev, conversely, backing away, having made an initial run. And sums up things for Giancarlo Italiano's men. Calibration has not been there this evening. The understanding between the units, between the players, again absent.
Here's Barbarouses again. Is this the moment? Krajev can't get his head on it. Ben Old. Sam Sutton. Sutton in the area, but again the defence is solid. Brandon O'Neill making the crucial tackle this time. Every Wellington attack has been snuffed out in one fashion or another. David Ball. He has the ball taken away. Push it up, Krajev. Krajev shoots, another save by Scott. Even in the 90th minute, Ryan Scott desperate to deny Wellington anything from this one.
Oh, you love to see it. Ryan Scott comes up big down to his right-hand side. Krajev, as he is already this season, looking for the bottom left-hand corner of that goal here at Sky Stadium.
Barbarouses again. Hangs it up at the far post. Still there, Old. And behind it goes. And Newcastle now starting to celebrate.
Costa Barbarouses this time, trying to stand it up to the back post. I'd love to know the stats of the crosses that the Phoenix have had this evening. It falls to Ben Old this time. Not clean contact on the ball.
4 extra minutes minimum to be added here. The result is secure. Newcastle are going to gain a rare victory in Wellington. And is there a final little flourish at the end of it? That could be a booking for Costa Barbarouses.
And just while it's up on screen, or disappeared now, but the Phoenix have had 30 crosses this evening. Outnumbers the Jets 3-1, and the Jets have kept the clean sheet. Rory Stanton has done something to galvanise this unit in the space of a week. Last week, of course, well below standard, and self-infliction cost them against Melbourne City. This week, really comprehensive defensive performance.
Solid as a rock at the back, the Jets.
The point to make is that as we see final third entries over the course of the game, 69 to the Wellington Phoenix. It's not that the Phoenix have been dominating the Newcastle Jets. Conversely, the Jets have been in control and have defended well from deep. Forced the Phoenix into low percentage opportunities. And really have had the ability to affect any sort of delivery into the box at times.
Here's Barbarouses again for Wellington. Turned a corner late on. Taken short again. Plenty in the area for Wellington if Payne wants to plant it in. And does, towards the far post. And palmed away by Ryan Scott again.
That was good goalkeeping. Gust of wind hit the back of Ryan Scott just as that boot left Tim Payne's foot.
Wellington finishing the game with a series of set-piece opportunities. Still yet to find the back of that net. Rufer lifts it in. Scott saw it coming, patted it down, and then falls gratefully upon it as we enter the final of the additional minutes here in Wellington. O'Neill has led his team superbly. Moragas still keen to make a run. Back to Lucas Moragas. Is this the cherry on top? Alex Paulson denies him. Well, Lucas Moragas also almost got the goal that his excellent performance deserves. Still there for the Jets. Moragas again. Still there, and then a shot on the turn just goes wide. Callum Timmins, I think, with that effort.
Moragas off the back of a lung buster forces Paulson to make the save at the near post. Just to demonstrate how clinical Newcastle have been, because I was thinking it's the first time we've seen Alex Paulson in a while. 3 chances on goal, 3 goals for Newcastle Jets.
A new dawn for Newcastle. The Jets have roared into town, torn up the script and thrown the pieces into the Wellington wind. A reality check for the Phoenix. A brace for Apostolos Stamatolopoulos and a goal for the excellent Clayton Taylor. There's your full-time score. Wellington Phoenix 0. Newcastle Jets 3. All smiles for Newcastle. Rob Stanton must be delighted, absolutely delighted with the way his team have played here tonight. They've repelled everything that was thrown at them by Giancarlo Italiano's men. And they'll take 3 points in their bags. Back across the Tasman, through customs and up to the Hunter. An excellent, excellent performance from Newcastle this evening. Tim Payne and Dane Ingham, combatants for the All Whites right back spot. Share a joke there. Ingham has certainly taken the spoils away tonight. Archie Goodwin continues to build up his match minutes. Much more to come from that young man as the season progresses, no doubt. Jack Duncan catches up with former teammates. Ryan Scott, a clean sheet. And some very, very tidy saves from the Jets custodian tonight. A very happy Newcastle squad. Don't want to leave the grass. Let's throw down sideline where Goran Paladin has Phoenix skipper Alex Rufer alongside.
Yeah, thanks for that, Piney, here with Roofs. Alex, obviously the undefeated streak is over, but more importantly, how disappointing was it tonight that you weren't able to play the Phoenix brand of football that we've been familiar with over the first 6 rounds of the season?
Yeah, look, very, very disappointed. We didn't play the way that we have been and want to. But look, at the end of the day, we're in a good position and we just have to focus on next week. These things are going to happen. But it's about consistency, and tonight we weren't good enough, but we've got a week now to rebuild and focus on MacArthur.
A feature of the Phoenix play this year has been those long diagonal passes from yourself, from Nicholas Pennington as well. How big a part did the wind play tonight in putting those back in the pocket tonight?
Oh, look, it was windy for both teams. We're in this wind every day, really. So for us, that's no excuse. The conditions are for both teams, and we weren't good enough tonight. That's the end of it. But like I said, for us now, it's to focus next week and get back to training and work hard.
You had something like 70 final third entries. What was it about the Jets' defence tonight that managed to repel you so expertly?
Yeah, they defended well, but I also think our quality at the end wasn't good enough tonight either. But look, these things can happen. We're a good side. We know that. We have belief. These things are going to happen. But now, as I said, it's just so important that we now focus on the next game and turn it around.
You had a ding-dong battle with an old teammate, Reno Piscopo, tonight. Well, what about next week when you've got the likes of Uli Davila and Clayton Lewis in midfield as well?
Yeah, look, I take every game the same. I want to win. Doesn't matter if they're an ex-teammate or not. For me, it's business as usual.
Oh, tough luck tonight, Roofs. All the best for Monday week against MacArthur, mate.
Thank you. Cheers.
And we'll bring in Brandon O'Neill, the successful skipper of the Newcastle Jets. Brandon, I think Andy Harper referred to the Jets last week as flat as a pancake. Well, this week, you've risen like an Edmonds special. Tell us about the reversal in form tonight, because it was absolutely majestic.
Yeah, look, we're a young team, but we don't want to be deemed as a young team, you know. Age is just a number, and you want to be able to prepare as best you can, go into every football game and win it. And after last week, I think the first half we had a bit of good football in us. Second half, again, I don't know what it is, but it's something in the group that we can be better at. This week we just went back to work. Defence, our defensive shape was outstanding tonight. We took our chances with and without the ball as well. Again, some patches in the second half, again, as an inexperienced team, we need to be better. We need to keep the ball better. But all in all, when you come away top of the table and you beat them 3-0, you have to be happy with that, don't you?
Yeah, oh, of course you do. Yeah, beating them 3-0. But I suppose the most exciting, most pleasing aspect of it, and you mentioned the defence, keeping a clean sheet. Ryan Scott, he didn't fish the ball out of the back of his net. You've been doing a fair bit of that. So how satisfying is it to come to Wellington, where you don't often get a win, and you keep the clean sheet?
Yeah, big time. I know these boys are working hard. Like I said, we're an inexperienced group, and every day they come in and they do as best they can. Sometimes it's good enough, sometimes it's not good enough. But this is the world of football. You're here to get better, and my job as a skipper is to lead them as best I can and show them the way. And hopefully, you know, 6-12 months time, you're winning things. And that was a great effort tonight. Great step in the right direction. And me little Scotty's second birthday, so Dad's coming home with 3 points.
Just quickly before we run, what about the form of Clayton Taylor? Because he's a young guy, 19 years of age, and he plays like that, the strength of the guy.
And he wouldn't know it. You talk to him and he's like, what day is it? What is it? Do we have a game today, do we? And then he goes out and does that. It's he's got something. Not only him, Reno's back in here, Stammer's banging in the goals. Defensively, I thought we were outstanding with a young back line, a young midfield. Again, it's enjoyable when you're winning football games, isn't it? And we enjoyed that one tonight.
Yeah. Of course you did. Brandon O'Neill, the Jets are taking flight in 23-24. Congratulations on your win tonight, mate.
Thank you very much. And Scotty, Dad is coming home with the 3 points, darling.
It's ended 3-0 here in the capital. 3-0 in favour of the Newcastle Jets. Stay with us on Sky Sport. We'll review the first loss of the Wellington Phoenix A-League men's season. We'll talk with former Phoenix player Reno Piscopo and also have a chat with Alex Paulson as well. Don't go away. Stay with us live on Sky Sport.